G'day, hello, and how you going? Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a really fun one, and yeah, it might be a slightly older trend, but hey, I'm only new to BookTube, so I want to get in on the fun. So today we're going to have a look at people's 5-star reviews of books that I hate, and I went mega controversial, going for books that are super popular and super polarizing, because hey, I like a little bit of controversy and I love having fun, and I would love to see what people love about books that I couldn't stand. So without further ado, no more introduction required. Let's get stuck straight into it. All right, now the first book we're going to look at is very controversial, and that is A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. And let me tell you, people love this book. I just ain't be one of those people. All right, here we go. Here's our first 5-star review. Let's see how we go. Another classic. If you don't like this series, you probably put your babelfish in the wrong hole. You are the reason that human beings are only the third most intelligent species on Earth behind mice and dolphins. So long, and thanks for all the fish. Considering you think that we're the third most intelligent species, it's probably more like 300th if we can enjoy a book that was this bad. All right, here's another view, and this lady has done what I hoped someone would do. They threw out a lot of quotes that people find brilliant and funny and witty and clever, and I didn't. The plot's not bad, but it's the writing that's fantastic. So here are her examples. Vogue on ships hung in the sky in exactly the way bricks don't. I don't find that clever. The hula-voo is a super intelligent shade of the color blue. Again, just random. The old man who said nothing was true, but was later found to be lying. Again, I don't find that funny or clever. After a second or so, nothing continued to happen. This must be Thursday. I never could get the hang of Thursdays. Bits of it were dullish grey, bits of it were dullish brown. The rest of it was rather less interesting. An acute attack of no curiosity. Almost but not quite entirely unlike tea. It's unpleasantly like being drunk. What's so bad about being drunk? Try asking a glass of water. What am I missing here, guys? Are you guys Team Daniel or Team Hitchhikers? God refuses to prove he exists because proof denies faith, and without faith, he is nothing. But the babelfish is a dead giveaway, so God disappeared in a puff of logic. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe these are clever, maybe they're witty. I'm not getting it. I just don't find them to be that clever. I think they're just randomness. In my experience, readers either love Adam's books or quickly put them down. I, for example, quite literally worship the words that Adam puts on the page and have read the Hitchhiker's trilogy so many times that I have large tracts of it memorized. That is very impressive. As for me, I skim read the last half just to get to the end of it. No judgies. But both my wife and father couldn't get past book 1. Add to the list your least favorite booktuber. The former because she found it too silly, and the latter because he found the writing to be more about the author's personality than the plot and character. Whatever. Yeah, whatever. In fact, whatever is exactly how I felt about this book. The first 3 books in the trilogy are inspired lunacy. The ideas, plots, puns, jokes, and phrases that fill the pages have influenced an entire generation of not only writers, but people from all fields. Well, then we've got a lot to worry about, don't we? You would hope that not many follow in his footsteps. A lot of what he did stuck. I don't know how, but it's true. Ooh, here we go. These books aren't, of course, without their problems. Adams himself admitted that the trilogy had, and I paraphrase, a long beginning, a long conclusion, and not that much in the middle. Although I can't remember where I read that. Yeah, tell me about it. That is exactly how I felt. Except that long beginning and long ending, I really wish they were a lot shorter. He was also regularly accused of writing for the sake of cranking out one-liners. Yes! The books as a whole jump around like a manic puppy on methamphetamines, and there are at least a few jokes in there that will completely fly over the heads of any readers who lack a basic comprehension of quantum physics. This guy. That actually was so apt for exactly how I feel about this book. It felt like a manic puppy on methamphetamines. I just could not keep track of how many one-liners and how many ridiculous out-of-the-box ideas. It was almost like every single sentence was designed to be more ridiculous than the previous, and it drove me insane. And apparently I haven't gotten over it because I'm still feeling a bit tense right now. Adam's wit and wisdom still baffle me in their greatness, and he remains to this day one of only 2 authors who can regularly, consistently make me howl with laughter. Howl with laughter? Howl with laughter. Maybe the person talking about mice and dolphins was right. Maybe I'm just not as intelligent as the rest of the human species. I don't know. But I did not find any of this book funny, truthfully. All right, that person's entitled to their incorrect opinion. I have no problems with that. It's just incorrect, which is Fact. I'm a firm believer that every budding reader ought to read this book first so they can be utterly and completely ruined for literature for the rest of their lives. Yeah, utterly and completely ruined, because if they read this book first, then they're probably never going to pick up another book because they're so damaged. Of course, if you're an older reader with experience and verve when it comes to words, you might also be completely ruined for literature for the rest of your life too. But I'm not counting on you. In fact, I don't care about you. Well, I don't even care about... I don't even care about you. I've got an idea for you. Rather than thinking that this book is the best and nothing else will top it, how about you try reading a different book? You might actually find that it's better than this one, like every single book is. I have no more to say. This book was bad. All right, let's move on to the next one. And the next one might be even more controversial. This is a massive fan favorite, and there's a TV series about it, which is also a massive fan favorite. So I'm definitely going to be stepping on some toes in this one. So we're going to have a look at The Handmaid's Tale, a book I rated 2 stars, and I thought that was generous. Now, first thing I want to say is I am all for equality. I'm all for women's rights. I'm one of the biggest believers in all of that stuff. So I don't want anyone to be offended and think that I'm coming from the wrong place and I don't understand, I don't appreciate women. None of that is the truth. I just didn't think this book did a brilliant job of what everyone else think it did. I think that the concept of this book was fantastic, and I think it could have been executed extremely well. It just didn't do any of the things I was hoping it would when I found out what it was about. And that's what most of my criticism is about. But let's have a look at these reviews and hope that it's a bit of fun. What a perfect time to be scared to death by this novel. It doesn't feel dated or far-fetched at all, thanks to President Trump. Oh my God, what a start. I'm not getting into the politics. I ain't gonna do it. Imagine the near future where power is overtaken by the religious right under the guise of protection from Islamic terrorism. Okay, I'm not gonna get into religion or politics. Imagine the future where the roles of the women reduced to those assigned to them in Old Testament. They are no longer allowed to read, work, own property, or handle money. Imagine that due to pollution and man-created viruses, the fertility rates are so low that the few fertile women, the handmaids, are now a communal property and are moved from house to house to be inseminated by men of power under the watchful eye of their wives. Yeah, that is dark and twisted. Why am I doing a review on this? Seriously. Well, after you've imagined that, you can imagine very easily how much I was terrified by this book. As a modern woman, I am horrified by the notion that at some point in time I can become nothing more than a servant, a toy, a reproductive organ. I would say that it's the opposite of that. I would say women now have way more rights than they used to. They've come so far, as they should have. They should be treated as equal, and they're working closer and closer and closer to actually getting almost everyone to agree with that. I think what you're describing is in the past. And I think that's what I struggled with in this book. I thought that the concept was great, but I just think they went so far beyond what I could possibly imagine for being our reality. By the way, guys, I know this is a polarizing book with some really strong ideologies, and I really hope I don't upset anybody. That's definitely not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to challenge it because I didn't like this book. All right, let's look at the next one by another lady who rates it 4.8 stars, apparently. What can I even say about this masterpiece of a book? Well, you're wrong already. What can I even say that hasn't already been said? I'm awed to my core. This book is a prediction, a revelation, a hymn. Again, I don't think that it is. I think it's the reverse. I think it's going backwards. It's going back to what men would have done to oppress women maybe many, many, many years ago, or maybe not as many as I'd like to think, but many years ago, rather than what's coming in the future. I think we're getting towards equality. I know I've already said this, but this is a passionate book, and I don't want to seem insensitive. This book is so bloody old, yet so bloody relatable and ahead of its time. It reads like 1984. The events in this dystopian book seem like such a close reality, which scares me for the future of humanity. Don't be scared. We're going the other way. You have nothing to fear. I can appreciate that if you bought into this book as this might be in our future, if you thought there was some truth to this reality, then this book would have probably done a lot of things for you, and it was a deep thinker. I cannot and will not deny that. To sum it all up, read this book. It tackles so many important issues about feminism and liberty of speech, and it's even more important to read if you are a woman. Just do it. You won't regret it. Till the next time, K, bye. Look, I must say, I didn't like this book. I don't know why everyone loved it so much, but I definitely can understand that the issues it tackled will hit home for a lot of people. I think that because I'm not a woman, I definitely can't quite relate to how that oppression might feel. Even to women living today who aren't oppressed, you might be able to relate in a way that I can't. But for me, I did not love this story. All right, so what I would say is there's a good chance that this book wasn't written for me. I can appreciate that, but I'm a very open, deep thinker. I love books that take me out of what I know, take me out of my comfort zone, open my eyes to things that I hadn't thought of, especially for other cultures or other genders that I am not as familiar with or I can't completely relate to. So I love the idea of opening my eyes. I just thought that this book didn't do it that well, not as well as everyone else thought. And I think that what seemed to separate it, at least now that I've read these reviews, is that I don't think this is in the so near future. I don't think it's in the future at all. And I think that's where I differ from most people, especially these reviewers. They seem to think that it is in the future and the near future, and that's what makes it so frightening. So I guess if I felt that way, I would feel differently about this story and the way it was told, but I don't. And maybe that is what hurt me the most reading this book. Guys, I hope that was fun for you. I know that was one really light-hearted book and one really heavy book, but I wanted to go for two really controversial reads. If you enjoyed what you saw, give this video a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you next time. See ya!